Yeah, good.
There we go.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, that's my key over there.
How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, TJ and Amanda?
We're doing all right.
Pretty fantastic. Can't complain. Nobody listens. Right?
Yeah.
No, we're doing pretty good. Your morning going well?
Yeah, happy Easter.
Yeah, man. Happy Easter. I know this was one of our busiest weekends, believe it or not.
It was.
Yeah. So before we get started, because obviously we're super comfortable with chatting with you already, why don't you let everybody know who you are, since we already do.
Sure. I'm Nick Green, drummer from the Urban Sex Legends. The comes and goes. And I also do a lot of the art for our project. We've got a rock opera graphic novel that's been ongoing for about 10 years called Satan Oscillate Metallic Sonatas.
We'll get that off later.
He probably
Yeah.
to me.
And we got a bunch of other stuff. We've been making stuff together for many, many years. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys go all the way back to 94, is it?
93?
Brady, the guitar player, and he does most of the singing, and I actually met in kindergarten in 1985, and we didn't come up with the band name until 94. But yeah,
Okay.
we've been
what you guys
making
do in kindergarten. This was it?
What we did in kindergarten. Honestly, I remember the very first time hanging out with Brady in kindergarten. We kept trying to get away from all the girls that wanted to play house. So we would play these games with the math blocks. You remember the math blocks that were like one little cube or 5 cubes or 10 cubes, so you could visualize math. I just remember playing with the very first day of kindergarten, playing with those with him and thinking, this guy's great. He's hilarious. So yeah, we've known each other that long, and we've always done art and made music together. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Bit of a mind blow.
Yeah, that's right. Well, my best friend and I have been friends since we were 4 years old, and
yeah,
that's 34 years of friendship. So if you do the math, I'm dating myself pretty good. And you did the same with me in kindergarten was 1985. So
yeah. Exactly. But
yeah. So right on. Yeah, that's amazing, man. Lifelong friendships are hard to come by, and that's right on. So
it's definitely rare. Yeah. And you know, you go on a real journey with somebody when you start at that age.
Mm-hmm. You definitely get to know somebody, that's for sure.
Definitely.
Right on. So
you go ahead.
Okay. Clearly we don't know what we're doing this morning. Okay, so how did you come up with the name?
I think we were 13 or 14 on the internet, and in that day and age it was bulletin boards and BBSs, and we just were 2 13-year-old teenage boys in the middle of nowhere trying to find the weirdest corners of the internet, and there was a page, Urban Sex Legends, and it just listed in text, no pictures, no GIFs, nothing like that at the time, just different urban sex legends. And we knew at that time, you know, it was Nirvana and Soundgarden and Pearl Jam were all hitting heavy, and it's like, that's the best band name we've seen in a long time. We had other band names before that, but this is the one that stuck.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Hot Diggity Dogs was one of our very first band names. Then one that really pissed off our mom, or Brady's mom, was Super Backwards, and it sounded like Reap Us.
Oh.
we were little edgelords, you know, 13-year-old.
Yeah.
But
you in elementary school and high school.
trying to push the boundaries of good taste. And we also, you know, in sort of a Frank Zappa way, approached a lot of songs as, you know, connected to those urban sex legends that we found on that bulletin board, you know. And I don't even remember Candiru, Catfish of the Amazon, you know that one, which is actually a true thing, the fish that swims up your pee hole.
Yeah.
One of them that I remember we wrote a song about. Yeah. So that's really where we started. But, you know, over the years, we've done so much. And a lot of the time we've lived together in the same city. And then we have the live band with music. And then sometimes in our past, you know, we've just collaborated because one of us is somewhere else or something like that. But the past... from 2005, so past 15 years, pretty much I've been in Portland and Brady's been in Portland and we've been playing live on the Portland scene.
That's all right.
Right on. Yeah. So what's the Portland scene like? Like I being in Niagara Falls, Canada, you would think that we would know nothing about your scene, but I've actually been, you know, like, hey, listen, you need to get into the Portland scene. Like, I've heard you guys have some really decent music coming out of there and some pretty outrageous venues too. What are they like?
Well, of course, the past year's been really hard, and the past 10 years has been hard on music venues. We've lost a lot of great music venues and all ages venues, and that's just a part of the change of a city too. But the scene here is great, and if you have a small band, you know, a band that might not have national coverage or anything like that, you can still play once or twice a month, easy, at different venues, different house shows around here, and you start to get to know a lot of the people on the scene. So Ash Street Saloon was a venue that closed a couple years ago. That was a real center. It was a downtown venue, big open dive bar type scene, but they had music 7 nights a week. And they really centered a lot of the stuff in the 2000s of the Portland scene. But yeah, I was really sad to see that venue go. Right next to Voodoo Donuts, and now it's some pizza place or something. But yeah.
I've heard of Voodoo Donuts. They're like super famous.
Super famous, yeah. And
yeah, they are. Voodoo Donuts are like really famous, actually. Like, I know that place.
So little insider knowledge. The original Voodoo Donut was a donut with a little voodoo doll on it, made of donut as well. Yeah. But it was filled with NyQuil DM, dextromorphan. So originally you'd eat these donuts, and you'd be NyQuil tripping. You'd be basically on lean. Yeah. But don't tell any of the food shows. They don't mention.
No, they don't make them.
Okay, so wait a minute. Voodoo Donuts were literally like an acid trip in a donut?
A dextromorphan trip, a NyQuil trip.
Yeah, I've heard that. It's one of the only things that I'm allowed to take when I get sick. Yeah. So, like, I understood the effects of NyQuil before I fall asleep.
Right. Nowadays, I'm old enough. I just use being sick as the excuse to overdo it with NyQuil DM. You know.
Right. Yeah, which I mean, I can't. But like, that's crazy. That's cool. That's an interesting little thing. Yeah, I can use that at parties. Yeah. Well, I don't, so I need to actually say interesting stuff for people to want to talk to me, right? So, right on. So, okay, you got to tell me about this album cover. Like,
I've been waiting for this.
I know. We've been like going over like
the battle right now,
and like we want to know about Portland and blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, tell me about the fucking women riding the rhinos. I want to know.
It started as a poster drawing I did, and then we said, hey, that's a pretty great idea. I'm not sure if sometimes a lot of the posters that I do, we just come up with, you know, we're talking at a band practice and, you know, we're drinking and I'm smoking some weed and somebody says something that would be a silly poster. And I don't know who actually came up with the idea, but I love the idea, right? Let me state that it was before the Marvel movies where they had the battle rhinos. It was before.
I know all about it.
I've never seen
Not
Star
that it
Wars.
matters. It's a great enough idea that it can be out there in the world. But yeah, I took the poster to one of our shows, and then we turned it into that album cover. And yeah, that's an example of some of my art. Which,
well, when I was telling her you guys were going to be on the show, you know, here's their album and stuff. When I finally seen her again, she's like, "What the fuck's with these women on rhinos and shit?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it. That'd be awesome."
I wasn't even asking in a negative way though, because like, I mean, we hang around bands like fucking Snake River Redemption and Razor and stuff. So like, nothing is too out there. And then I had seen that album cover, and I was like, okay, I need to know about this because like that might be out there enough for me to obviously want to know, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well,
so that's your original artwork?
yeah, that's something I whipped up, and hopefully it contains sort of a little bit of our sense of humor as well, because if you're gonna get into our band at all, you gotta kind of realize that we're doing it for love, number one.
Yeah.
We're doing it to crack each other up and have fun, and we're doing it because we love being creative, and we're nerds. We're big fucking nerds. I'm a drumming nerd, and I'm a comic book nerd, and I'm a vinyl music nerd, and I think that's where we actually first ran into each other, was on the Now Spinning.
That's correct. I put up a little
which is a great hashtag group. And we just share music, and you know, I love sharing music and sharing knowledge about creativity and making shit. And I do it as a passion, not as a way to make money. You know, I define making money with my day job.
Well,
So
when you do what you love, the money comes. You know, like I'm a music biographer, and I mean, I made money from my day job for years and years and years, and then finally I was like, no, this is my day job. This is what I want to do. And it was fucking terrifying because I had no idea how I was going to do it, make money off it, anything like that, right? And I was like, nope, this is what I'm doing. I'm putting all my focus, all my energy. It's still scared shitless. And I mean, like, I'm not rich, but I don't have rocks in my pots.
No,
right.
But the money will come, you know, even if you don't know. You know, the old saying goes, if you build it, they will come, which is what we're in the middle of doing right now.
Yeah.
You know, and if you build it, the money comes.
Well, absolutely. But,
you know,
and also, I kind of like my day job. It's not, I have a pretty cool job, and, you know, it's nice to be able to do exactly what I want creatively, and if an audience digs it, fucking great. That's the best in the world. But if they don't, then it's like, well, you know what? Cool, man. Everything's not for everybody. I'm not a huge fan of Avril Lavigne. I probably could be if I got stoned enough and listened to a bunch of her shit, but I just haven't, you know. And the point being, not everything.
I can respect that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's only from 3 or 4 hours away from here.
Yeah,
oh,
right.
No, like, I'm not a huge fan, but I can respect what she does. I mean, she went to a level where there's tons of huge fans just because I'm not one, you know. But like, not everybody is everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah.
Some of us drink coffee, so.
Sold more tickets in 2018.
Right? Yeah, exactly. The woman sold more tickets than we did. So. But you know, we're not like we're not everybody's cup of tea. Some of us prefer coffee, whatever, you know. But when you do what you love, people that appreciate what you love will appear.
Yeah.
You know, same with money. People, money, you know, fans, all that stuff that appears when you put your passion into it. When you find meaning, versus looking for happiness. When you find the meaning, the happiness just comes to you.
Yeah.
You know,
Why we do what we do, right?
well, yeah, absolutely. And I can imagine it's a lot the same for you. And that being said, what was it that made you go like, music is it? Like what song or album or like, I know for me it was War Pigs. We were all talking about this last night. There was three
That's part of the
Aussies.
conversation I caught last night before my roommates and I had to go get food and shit, which is a great conversation. Black Sabbath, fucking amazing, right? Bill Ward's fucking amazing. I don't know if it was War Pigs. It might have been.
No, but for me it was War Pigs. Yeah.
But I don't know. I do remember being very young. This was must have been before '86 because that's when we moved out of the Woodside house. It was on MTV when Grandpa gave us the cable box, and for those 6 months we could steal MTV. So I must have been like 4 or 5, and we were watching either Rat or Asia or some hair metal band. I don't even remember what. If I saw the video now and it rang true with my memory, I might have an epiphany. But I just remember seeing this guy up there behind the coolest fucking thing in the world, hitting these things and making noise. And I just knew, like, I was born to do with it. I don't know. I was born in the right time because 100 years ago there was no such thing as a drum set, and I would have had to be in Martian in war or whatever. But drum set.
Drum set from the lines drumming away. Here you go, drummer boy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just drums they make me smile. And then in 6th grade, when it was time to pick your band instrument, I knew I wanted the drums. And my mom was like, you know, you're gonna have to walk home and you're gonna have to carry the instrument, so maybe you should try flute.
Mom's looking out for us, eh?
Yeah, but that said, they did buy me my drum set, and there are no people more fucking gracious than drummers' parents when they let you practice the fucking drums in the house, because you know
My kids can attest to that.
I
There's
can
a
just
drum kit in the kitchen.
awesome. How does it sound in there?
You know, I gotta be honest, it all depends. Like, we don't have a couch. I know, like,
Let's crash here, we'll do the show from here in the morning, just
Where am I
sleep on the
gonna
floor. Here, we pull the table out for you, right?
there's a mattress.
Yeah.
You at least sleep on a mattress, Jesus.
Yeah, that's true, there was a mattress.
So we don't, our house, because I homeschool my kids and I do all my writing and everything from home. We don't have a couch. We barely watch TV. We don't have like big fuzzy pieces of furniture, and we have it sitting like right next to the sliding glass door. So for us, it sounds fantastic. We live in an apartment building, so like, my neighbors downstairs, they play video games and they watch TV, and they're deaf. So they play video games and watch TV at like 100 volume. So as soon as they turn their TV on, I'm like, oh, practice time. Exactly, yeah. And like, the kids go straight into the kitchen and they can just fuck around and whatever. But like, I didn't get to grow up with instruments around. Like, there's a guitar behind me.
Yeah.
You know, we have an accordion, we have the spoons, we have a harmonica. Yeah, exactly. You know, exactly. So like, I wanted my kids at microphones, fuck the shit everywhere now that I'm looking. But I wanted my kids to grow up with access to be whoever they wanted and do whatever they wanted. And
music will always be a big influence on
well, yeah, like,
you don't play the instrument itself, but you're around the music.
well, I mean, I'm only 38 years old, and I'm just picking up a guitar for the first time. I'm just starting to learn. I've been in this industry for 7 years, but I've been in it on the other side where I'm writing about you guys, and like I'm in the mosh pit watching what's going on, and you know, I'm connecting musicians that I'm like, oh, you two would be fucking great together, or you know, putting together shows or whatever it is. So I myself am not a musician. I'm one of the ones who makes the you know, the scene run, I guess, the behind the scenes type, you know, sewing the curtains together. That's me. I'm sewing the curtains together, right?
But you are a musician because now you've got
well, and that's it. You know, if you guys didn't do what you did, I don't get to do what I do. And my kids are very fortunate that my mom was like, Amanda, you're a writer. No matter what you do, you're a writer, and you're a writer, and you're good at writing, and just keep being a writer. And you know, she always pushed me to, you know, get a job and cut my hair and, you know, usual mom shit. You know, button up your shirt, don't get tattoos, and well, here we are. But on the same token, she never actually stopped me from being myself. You know, and I don't want my kids to ever stop being themselves. And you know, when we get the opportunity to give our kids that, like you say, drummers' parents being very gracious, you know, I guess the drummers are the lucky ones, because guitars, you can unplug. Bass, you can unplug. Drummers, it doesn't matter. You're making fucking noise, man, and you better have parents that get it. So, you know. So when did you start drumming? Was it in school when that's when you started, or you were already doing it?
I started in earnest probably when I was 13. I think it was a birthday, probably around Easter, because I'm an April baby. Around this time of year, my parents knew that I wanted a drum set, so they got me one. And Brady's parents were also hippies, professional hippies. And his family also had a bunch of music. And actually then a couple years later, his dad and my mom and another adult, and then Brady and I were in a folk rock group that we played around Idaho mostly, a little bit of, I think, Utah, maybe.
Utah.
But we played folk rock hits, you know, the Byrds and just all of the music of that generation. Beach Boys.
Yeah, all great music too.
Great music, and I had to play on the most minimal kit you can imagine, because there's not a lot of room for Bonham fills and Keith Moon stuff in backing up your mom and your best friend's dad. Well, we play
full of an experience.
Yeah. And, you know, playing Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, but only being able to play bass drum, hi-hat, and snare drum, you get into the song shape aspect of the music as a drummer. Right. So Amanda.
Yes. I feel like there's a question from me.
Yep.
You started writing and you started just by doing show reviews and stuff, or did you start by writing a biography of an artist?
Well,
how did you start as a music biographer?
Well, I actually I started writing in general. I started writing poems when I was 6 years old.
Great time for me.
Right? I started writing poetry when I was 6 years old, and that was before we had access to the internet. So my mom and my grandmother used to go rent books from the library, and they would go through these books to make sure I wasn't plagiarizing these poems, because I was fucking 6. Once they realized it was me, like my mom would be like, okay, write a poem about this right now, and I would just do it. like just right on the spot. So they encouraged me to write. I did. I wrote a lot, and I got in trouble in school and stuff like that. Science class was always a fun experience. You're going to work in a bowling alley. Never worked in a bowling alley. But, well, it could have been, but after she said that to me, I was determined to never do it, right? So how I ended up in music biography, I had actually written a comedy book called The Explicit Mom's Guide to Raising Our Perfect Children. And all parenting books are, they shit at this time, they sleep at this time, this is how your labor is, you're only sick this long. That's fucking bullshit. My first kid was textbook, my pregnancy was exactly how it's supposed to be. I ate all these things, I slept, whatever, right? My second pregnancy was a fucking nightmare. My kids obviously are, fantastic and healthy and stuff, but I wrote this book, and then a friend of mine who works in the industry and I were hanging out together, and I had seen a homeless man named Jimmy here in the Falls, who is probably one of the best guitar players I've ever seen. I don't know how well known he is. He's a homeless guy that has an alcohol problem, right? But I had seen him on the news. Oh, I don't even know.
Called, I think, what we used to call him, Billy Butts. And he was a homeless dude, but everybody knew who he was, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, see, I don't know how many people knew who he was, but he ended up on the news. And for like this brief 5 minutes, he was sober enough to play an acoustic guitar. And I had decided, my friend Erin and I had decided that we wanted to raise some money for the homeless. All right, well, how are we going to do it? We're going to throw a party. Okay, well, everybody throws parties. Yeah. Well, why don't we write a book about the musicians that we're throwing the parties for? Okay, perfect. Well, then my publisher says to me, do we have somewhere directly for the money to go? And I said, no, we're just going to raise money and do whatever. And she was like, well, here's a woman named Deb Manson. And what she does is she gets prostitutes out of jail and she takes them off the street and she gives them a home and she goes to court with them and she, helps them get off drugs. And I went, let's give her the fucking money. Yeah. So I put together Sofa City Sounds Volume 1. And I did it all from my house. I didn't go to parties or anything like that, no shows and stuff at that time, because my, at the time, husband and I were sober, which I'm a recovering alcoholic, but now I know how to balance a little bit better than I did. Yeah. So I wrote this first book. Taps Eatery here in Niagara Falls sponsored everything. They helped me throw the party. They helped me put all musicians on stage, take them down. They fucking paid for the book to be put out. Wow. Eric Martin and Ashley Michelle from Taps Eatery are fucking amazing human beings, man. We packed that place. We had bands all night. We sold out all the books. It was great. Yeah. And then, the second one came along because people were like, hey, are you going to do another one and whatever? Because I was trying to do another one, a couple of heart attacks, a divorce, moved across the country, all that shit happened. And finally I decided to do Sofa City Volume 2. And which I have a copy around here somewhere. Yeah. But we take musicians from everywhere and we put them in this book, and it's a unique way for us to network, put out merchandise for bands, throw parties, get people to know each other, have something on your coffee table for people to read. Yeah. Discover new music. We have a website, all that stuff. I love it. I love doing it. We actually have 5 more in the works, and one of them is a US edition. So we certainly can include you guys in that too. I bet you weren't expecting a novel for an answer, but you did ask a writer a question. So
no, I think that's a fucking amazing story. Actually, I'm glad I asked. Yeah.
Well, it gives you a break, right? So,
I finally get my interview.
Right, yeah, thank you. Now, how TJ and I met was he came down to interview me, and we ended up having a potluck podcast in my living room instead, and that's how we became partners.
Excellent.
So to this day, TJ's never been able to interview me. The only way he gets the interviews from me is when our guests ask questions.
Well,
So-
so TJ, you're a musician as well?
Yeah, I write a lot of my own, pretty well all my own music and stuff, but right now I'm working on a collaboration album with all the bands that were meeting on the show that are willing to take a riff and jam with it. And then, yeah, plus I do the show, right? So that's how I ended up. I knew I wasn't gonna make it with the band, so I was like, how do I meet as many bands as possible, right? My friend Tammy was like, why don't you start interviewing bands and shit? So I jumped all over that a year and a half ago, and then been just crushing it ever since, right? So
Yeah, and you guys do like 4 shows a week on the weekend or 6?
We're gonna slow down a little bit here soon.
We kind of came out of the gate making a statement with like sometimes up to 7 or 8 shows in a week.
That's a lot.
But now that we've established ourselves, we have an amazing support system. We have great people behind us. I think we're just gonna do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Fridays are gonna be our new music and our music that's not from Canada or not from Ontario, I believe. Saturdays are going to be, well, we have a few that are still live streamed, but Saturdays we're going to do directly from the table from now on. It's only going to be in-house guests on Saturdays. And then Sundays, we're going to just keep doing what we're doing with musicians like yourself and sitting down, just figuring out whether it's going to be a coffee and a doobie or a super serious thing or a beer, or because sometimes people like to have a drink for breakfast,
Sunday morning. That's my favorite thing to do.
Well, yeah, so like,
I gotta drive today, so I'm not drinking this.
Yeah, so we want to keep the more serious, relaxed things going on Sunday. Like Saturday's our shit show. Friday it's, hey, listen to this, and these guys are from here, and then Sundays it's like, let's listen to what these guys have to say. And
really kicking in until after May and into June.
Probably June. We're probably going to start that schedule in June. We're already on to the 3 to 4 days a week now. We were doing Mondays. I think we might turn that into like a Monday night drive where our special or something where we choose a musician and we go for a drive, and that musician actually gets to choose the music we listen to. And we talk about it while we're going on the drive, because we have some beautiful areas around here.
Niagara here is very good. And then
it's amazing.
If we can get them far up north where I am, man, there's lots of nice beaches and little spots to go. There's cliff outlooks we can go and sit and watch the sun go down and shit, right?
Yeah. So
play the acoustic.
Yeah. So like, what for you guys? What's it like for you guys? Like, I know that this pandemic has hit everybody in, a different way. We were having the conversation backstage, and like, how has it helped you guys? And like, what kind of ideas has it sparked, or like things that you guys are doing that you never thought you'd do, or anything like that?
Well, it's given us some time, I guess, is how it's helped. We haven't actually been jamming for a year or getting together and playing together for a year now, because there's various health concerns, and my job requires that I go in and mix with people, deal with people. So in a way, I'm not a frontline worker or an essential worker, but I'm a dock master at a moorage at a yacht club, and so I have to be there to maintain the docks one way or another. But also our clientele is of an older age, so I've been trying my best to just, the job, and we haven't been jamming as a band, but we're always in contact. And since the band is really just about brotherly love, it's more that the band is helping us, because when you're in a band with people, you have built-in relationship with those people. So Dan and Brady are my brothers, and we're there for each other, and we've been there for each other virtually with Brady, because he lives separate from Dan and I, so he's the one that hasn't been coming over. But if I didn't have my video check-in with him at least like once a week, I don't know. I'd be doing worse through this thing, because other than work and roommates, it's fucking isolating. You know, it's isolating not having people's faces in the supermarket. You know,
and then being through the winter as well. A lot of people I know fucking got cabin fever. You know what I mean?
Oh, I got it bad. And if I didn't have my buds in the band to be creative with virtually, or, you know, Dan and I have gone record shopping a couple times now that the record stores are letting like 6 people in at a time with, you know, masks and just getting out and going record shopping, man. If I didn't have that, I don't know. But I also like going hunting for mushrooms in the Pacific Northwest here, and that is, if nobody's ever gone out hunting, foraging in the woods, that is very healthy for your mental health, man.
You said mushrooms, right?
Yeah.
Nice. I just wanted to make sure. Like I am listening to every single thing you're saying. I'm just responding to people on the chat while you're
sure. Good morning.
I thought I heard you say hunting for mushrooms.
And Adam Colin, good morning.
Oh,
and Doug.
Oh, Doug.
Yeah, so I would say that being in a band is been beneficial through this, you know, through this whole pandemic, because it's also just music is always seems to be beneficial for my mental health. You know, I'm most prolific after I've gotten out of the end of a relationship, and I'm like 2 or 3 weeks into it, and I'm like, I need to stop being a sad bastard, so I better write a bunch of songs. And the music does, you know, that's why those songs are out there. Everybody, all the musicians in the world write those songs because it's for them. And you know,
I'm pretty selfish like that when I play my guitar. Like,
absolutely.
But you get it out, and you try and communicate a little humanity, or reach out to your buds, or express some pent up emotions. So the weird thing is, so I had a relationship end about 2 months before the pandemic started.
Yeah.
And also we just stopped jamming in person together. And I wrote a bunch of songs acoustic wise, but lately all I've been doing is practicing drums and not really writing songs or anything. We were like 2/3 of the way through an album, and we like to play live to make our albums, and so the pandemic sort of just put a pause on it. And hopefully we'll get everybody vaccinated and get back to playing live and finish that last third. And the goal of mine in my life has always been to have some music on fucking vinyl.
Yeah.
That would be good. That's my goal, and it's going to be probably a short print for the new album. But my goal is to have it in licorice disc, man. Just to hold the object, and I know it's a fucking just an object, but you know, that would feel good. And I'm sure every band ever had something on vinyl, holding it felt good. And you know, we've put out.
It's almost like a gold record that you earn and then you hang it on your wall or you display it as a replica.
Well, we were talking about that earlier. When you find the meaning in something, the happiness just comes along with it. And when that vinyl is your meaning, you definitely find the happiness. You know, it just comes along with it, and that's what it is. When you're holding, like I know when I'm holding my book in my hand and I'm like, I fucking wrote this, you know?
Yeah.
And it's the same for you, you know, you literally put your thoughts onto something, and that's something holding what you believe in, you know? So I totally get that.
So something really cool like that was that I had our rock opera graphic novel was in the Portland Independent Film Festival. Was up on a big screen, and so this is a project I've been working on for 10 years. I was let's see. I was very optimistic with thinking how quickly you could put out graphic novel, part of the rock opera graphic novel. I had no idea how time consuming and how long it takes to make a graphic novel. So at the time I had the concept, before I had really put the artwork in, I thought, oh, we can put a bunch of these out. We'll have like 6 songs and then 6 graphic novel parts by the end of the year and blah, 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 blah. So we recorded the 6 songs with one form of the band. That was 10 years ago, completely different than the band is. Well, not completely, but we had 2 guitarists. We had another guy called Donnie Dutra on, he played like Spanish flamenco style, super sweet guy, chef, just love him to death. And then we had Peter Benziger on bass, and he is just the mountain of a man, but just a sweetheart, and playing his bass lines. And the band was totally different, but I had the concept. We recorded these 6 songs, and for the past 10 years, I'm now up to song 5 that I'm working on. Sex on Drugs is the name of that song. And I'm closing in on it, but of course, I get myself these huge fucking concepts, and then I have to try and meet them. And that's what's going on, is now 10 years later, I probably have 200 pages of art that you could go see right now with the music that we recorded back then. And I'm working on this one, trying to make it as psychedelic and sexy as I can.
Yeah.
And then one more song after that, and I'll have completed those 6 songs that, 10 years ago, I was like, oh, I'll get this done in a year.
I know, right? That's awesome. Well, 10 years. Finally, like it must be satisfying to know that you're right there finally after all this. As you said, oh, this will take me a weekend, jam this out.
Well, drums, if you're recording completely extemporaneously, it's instantaneous. You're hitting the drum and you're making the art. But with graphic novels, with comic book art, you got to put your time in and your line mileage. And, I've got a day job and I'm in a band, and making that amount of art is just, I respect all graphic novelists and, Peanuts to Jack Kirby.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, it is a time consuming passion. So you got to put time in. But that's Satan Oscillate Metallic Sonatas, and you can go see it on Vimeo or YouTube. Just pop in Urban Sex Legends Satan Oscillate Metallic Sonatas. I also sent Amanda the link to the Vimeo because that's the highest quality.
Thank you.
And we love making visuals that go with art in various different ways. So we've got other projects. We've got the County Fair Magician project, which is sort of a little bit of a pastiche short story film album that's only available online. And then that Thunder Honey, which is the album with the rhinos, was our latest album before the one that we were working on when the pandemic hit, that's just sort of been on hiatus. And that the working title for this one is going to be The Dock Master and the Hobo Pirate King.
That's awesome.
And I am a dock master, but before, when we came up with the title, I had yet to become the dock master, which is basically the guy that's in charge of the maintenance and building of the docks in a moorage. But before I had actually become the dock master, I was the assistant dock master, and I was out on our property at the other end from where our building is. There's a storage shed and a parking lot, and I was out there cleaning up trash, and this houseless gentleman came up to me and started talking to me. He was either manic or up on meth or something, and he started telling me about how the hobo pirate king was out to get him. And Portland apparently has a hobo pirate king, and he's got all the hobo pirates, which is sort of a real thing on the river. They're the guys that take the boats people abandon and live in them till they sink. So he was telling me about the hobo pirate king, and I just latched onto that phrase. That's just too good. That's a Tom Waits.
That's one you put in your pocket for later, for sure.
Yeah.
And the other thing about this album that I was excited to get out is I've been taking drum lessons from Spit Sticks, who was the drummer from Fear, the past 2.5 years, and I was excited to try and throw down with that, and we'll get back to it.
Melody got
album out. We'll get it out there sooner than later, I hope. But yeah, that's what we've been working on lately, as well as Brady always has hidden side projects everywhere. He's got a lot of different aliases, and he makes music a lot of different ways, and really tries to gamify Bandcamp and shit like that. So I don't even know if I should mention his name, because he might not want me to do that.
Well, we can always talk about that backstage later. We don't have to tell the world that.
No, right?
No,
I mean, you don't have to tell us, but we certainly don't have to tell
his
us.
aliases. But yeah, yeah.
Right on. So, okay, so you mentioned Bandcamp. Where can we find you?
Oh, well, Bandcamp we need to update, but we definitely got all our shit on iTunes and Spotify, YouTube, and we're on the Instagram as Urban Sex Legends. We're on the Facebook as Urban Sex Legends. I'm on Instagram as Taoist Chainsaw. That's Taoist with a T. Just to be extra clever, I came up with that name too when I was a teenager. That's been my name, but it's also where you can find the merch. If you really like that running nose lady, Taoist Chainsaw on TeePublic. You can put it on a pillow or a coffee cup or whatever on TeePublic.
That's awesome.
Which I just threw a bunch of shit up onto TeePublic a couple weeks ago, and I also have a personal screen printing kit, and I was convincing myself that I was going to do that and print a bunch of T-shirts and reap all the profits over the pandemic, but I haven't done that yet. So I did throw it all up onto TeePublic a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Oh, I should. What's that?
Oh, you're busy, man. Busy as hell.
Yeah, I try and keep busy. Oh, I should shout out. We're talking. Sofa Sounds is a nonprofit. I should shout out my good friend's nonprofit here in Portland. My Voice Music, which he started when I first moved to Portland in 2005, 2006, into this great house called the PBR House, right at the Powell Butte in Portland here. And my roommate at the time was working at a youth center. And one day he brought his guitar in, and so now 15 years later, he's got a nonprofit that serves at-risk youth, and basically uses songwriting as a tool for expression, personal growth, just because it works and it helps people, and basically encourages people write and record their own songs all through Portland, and it's a really great thing. My Voice Music, if any millionaires are watching this, just go ahead and slide them some cash, you
know. Sounds very similar to what
Our
Margaret
friend
does,
Margaret
yeah,
over
with the Birdsong Foundation. That's
Song
amazing. No, well, yes, but the
Yeah.
foundation is Birdsong Foundation.
Oh, okay,
Well, I
okay.
pay attention,
Yeah,
trust me.
thank you.
So yeah, like that's pretty amazing, man. That's a great shout out for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, people should know about things like that, especially like you know, we keep mentioning how the pandemic has treated us, all of us, over the last little while, because like we're all weathering the same storm, but we're not all sitting in the same building weathing the storm. You know what I mean? It's a lot different for all of us, you know.
Absolutely.
So it's nice to hear about things like that are happening, and like I know that our industry has been hit very, very hard. Our industry, I don't know, well, you mentioned for the last 10 years that venues have been having a really hard time in Portland, and we're in, like, the Toronto scene is in between the two of us.
I would say by the time when I come back, I've been almost in Canada 4 years now, and from the time I came back, the music scene was just growing and getting bigger and better and better.
Yeah,
and then the world shut down, and now 80% of them would instantly go.
Well, yeah, but like Toronto was already, like he was saying with Portland, Toronto was already having a rough time. You know, like we lost the Coalition in 2019, and that was like, okay, so the thing about the Coalition, remember Johnny Nocash was saying, I miss the smell of piss in the bar? And this place, it was a basement bar in Kensington Market in Toronto. And it was just a dirty concrete old room, spray painted black, huge stage, spray painted black, no fucking ceiling boards, everything's spray painted black. There was pinball machines. They only served like X amount of beers, X amount of mixed drinks, and that was it, you know, and they packed the house every fucking weekend. And then some asshole decided to build a condo, and I say that with love. I understand we all have to do things to move forward and whatever, but I'll say it anyway. A lot of things are getting restructured as far as Kensington Market goes. The artists are getting pushed out, the musicians, and we lost that was a major staple for us you know. So I can appreciate how places like that and nonprofits and stuff are finding unique ways and interesting ways to still be able to offer those services to make things work. You know, we've all had to be really creative over this. And you know, I can appreciate that, and I'm definitely grateful that you put that out there, because there's a lot of people looking for an outlet right now, you know.
Absolutely.
So is there anybody else you want to give a shout out to? Any bands that like we should be listening to?
You should check out Nasal Rod, that's for sure. That's a fantastic, very what's the word, like they sort of mix almost that math funk of like a Mr. Bungle with some weirdness, but Tim Spit Sticks from Fear is drumming with them, and they're a great live show. Yeah. Oh, Trick Sensei. Check out Trick Sensei. They have almost a Sonic Youth sound, very punk. One of the members makes his own fucking theremin and shit.
Oh no.
Yeah, they're a great energy. Yeah. I can think of more bands. Just give me some coffee, just a minute.
Oh yeah.
I know, I've got my magic water, my smoothie, and my coffee on the go. This is how I operate in the morning. Yeah.
Let's see. You got strawberries, frozen strawberries, and raspberries, and banana, or what's going on with the smoothie there?
So this one is raspberries, strawberries, blackberries, and instead of water, I used prune juice because I ate a fucking pizza yesterday. No shame.
I didn't know.
No shame. No shame in
I
that.
know, like, I don't know, like, I've mentioned quite a few times on the show, you know, here and there, that I went through some shit a few years ago in 2018 where my body was just done, you know,
Yeah.
and I ended up with this disease that I don't ever know if I'll relapse from or not.
Yeah,
You know, every day is a new adventure, and it certainly is a new fucking adventure. You know, one day I've got fire blood, and the next day my legs don't work, and the next day I can clean the whole house and school the kids and fucking run a marathon, and it all depends, you know. So I started, like I just
It's the
mentioned,
spoon
fire blood.
analogy, right?
Yeah, well, yeah,
The spoon
you
analogy.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't have as many spoons.
Pardon?
Sometimes you're out of spoons. The spoon analogy, you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, exactly. So, like, I ended up with this thing called fire blood. I call it fire blood. And it's when it feels like my blood is boiling under my skin.
Yeah, right.
It feels like my skin's not on fire, but my blood is. And my hematologist thought that maybe it could be something linked to diabetes. So we revamped my whole food intake, and this is my breakfast and lunch. And then I snack on fruits and vegetables all day long, and I only eat meats, fruits, vegetables, except for last night I ate a pizza, and I'm suffering for it, believe me. But I feel better. You know, I'm faster, I'm stronger, I'm louder, which is a bonus.
Yeah. Sure, that's a great bonus over here.
Well, pizza is a very, very powerful substance with a strong pull, and I hope it was good. I hope it was a good slice of pie.
Oh, it was a chicken wing pizza from a place called Zappy's that have been around here as long as I have. Yeah, you like that, eh? No, I took it out already.
Oh, I was looking for the box.
Yeah, I
know.
What did Josh say? Zappy's Pizza around since 1970 fucking one.
Yeah, 70 fucking one, baby.
Yeah, so it was, their sauce is blue cheese. Then they put buffalo chicken and celery and mozzarella cheese on it.
Celery falls right off. It's perfect.
Yours. So yeah, you're literally eating a chicken wing pizza.
Sounds good. It sounds delicious.
It was delicious.
I mean, yeah. Oh, they're life changing. They are. They're amazing. So okay. So like we're getting close to shutting the world out and just keeping you to ourselves for a little while. Is there anything else you want the world to know? Any bands? Any news coming out of Portland that you think people should know?
If you don't know Dead Moon, you should. Dead Moon is like, if you're gonna look at Portland rock in the past 20 years, 30 years, how old are we? Let's not think about time.
Thanks.
But yeah, you should know Dead Moon, Fred and Tootie and Andrew. Yeah. I think that's good for bands.
Where do we find your music? Where do we get your stuff on?
We're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, we're on YouTube. We got a lot of deep cuts. We got a lot of music out there. We are on Bandcamp. That's some deeper cuts. That's got like our Thanksgiving theme song and shit on it. But yeah. If you're brave enough to type Urban Sex Legends into any search, you probably will find some of our music or some of our art. Or we've got cartoons on YouTube. Brady made a cartoon back in 2010 of 4 episodes of some ride adventures of our rock band.
As soon as I find it, I'm sharing that up on our page, buddy. I gotta see that.
Rock of Minimum Wages, it's called. I can look it up. I'll get you the link to it.
Fantastic.
we like cartoons. We like comics. We love rock and roll, and we love making shit. So yeah, that's basically our whole bag.
No, it's great to hear, man. It's been fucking pretty good talking to you this morning, man. That's great conversation.
I'm thinking about making myself a smoothie now.
Yeah,
I know. They're addicting. They're so good. I try to stay as fresh as possible. But you know, with things that have been going on, and because sometimes my kids drink, like I go through fruit like crazy with these, and I don't know about where you are, but here fresh shit's pretty expensive right now.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna try and end us with that little promo video.
okay, right on.
Just
So yeah,
fucking
so
around right here on Sunday, might as well try this. So.
So yeah, I myself recommend either water or some kind of natural fruit
I always buy
juice.
the Fruitopia stuff.
But Fruitopia's got like 26 grams of sugar in it. You know, and like I didn't know how accountable I was to the shit I was eating until my dietitian was like, you have to write everything down. And when I started writing things down, I was like, donut, chips. Oh, I had a good steak dinner and Brussels sprouts, cookies, and I was like I really had a problem with sugar, right? So once I started writing things down, I was like, Jesus Christ, like I can't be eating this shit all the time, especially when I have to show it to somebody, right? So like once I started holding myself accountable, it was like, fuck, I can't eat this shit anymore, and I mean, with the fire blood too, it was like, it turns out it has nothing to do with sugar because I ate those chocolate Easter eggs last night, and I was fine this morning. So, but yeah, so I guess on that note,
let me hit this button here, man. And,
hang around backstage for a minute, and we'll end this. So we're gonna kick the world out, and